Just to have a review of what we have done so far during the course of our physical classes. And if you remember vividly, the courses Introduction to Information Technology, and we are meant to talk about operating system and the application packages. And so far so good. I believe we have done necessary justice to all these topics. In the form of review, and for the benefit of those of us that miss one or two things in the classes, so we decided to bring up this class so that we can have a review of what we have discussed so far. First and foremost, I want to implore us to go back to our material and review everything about application packages. Like I told you, we have series of application packages. We have word processing package, we have a presentation package, we have a spreadsheet package, we have graphics package, we have database package. As for the word processing package, we used Microsoft Word for our practical class. So, and as for the spreadsheet package, we equally used Microsoft Excel or practical for those of us that attended the practical classes. And in the word processing, please, for the purpose of the examination, I want you guys to focus on some key combinations that you can use to achieve one or two tasks in the word processing. Please, let's focus our attention on it. E.g., for instance, to save, you can use Ctrl S. To copy, you can use Ctrl+C, and so on like that. Please, let us take our time to get materials to read on that, and we should be able to state some of the features of the word processing package. Having said that, we equally go through one or two questions that I think can help us in the process of reviewing what we have learned so far. Take, for instance, you have a question like this. You are to define a table and record related to database. How do you do that? How do you go about it? Like, what is a table? What is a record? A table consists of rows and columns, like a normal table. And in these rows and columns, you the rows are referred to as record. Each rows in a table is referred to as record. Take, for instance, you have a table with heading, name, matric number. Okay? Now, the first column you have Adebola 214. That first column is a record on its own, a record that is describing a particular entity. So once you see 214, you know it is Adebola. So that is a record on its own. You can have as many records as possible in a table. You can have another record, say, so to say, you have Adetunji, matric number 1124, and so on and so forth. Now, by definition, we can say a table consists of rows and columns, wherein the rows are as records, and the columns are regarded as what? Field. You know, name is a field on its own. Matric number is a field on its own. So Adebola and 114 is a record on its own. Adetunji and 216 is a record on its own. So by that we should be able to do justice to this, and we can read up. We can always read up and widen our scope as regard this. Now, let's look at another question. With the head of suitable diagram, describe the hierarchical model as used in database. I want to skip this, and we like us to make a brief research on it, because there is no way we want to talk about this without putting up one or two diagrams, which I don't think I was able to do during the course of preparing for this session. So let me take the next question. Okay, this is a formula in Spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel. The formula is A1. I think you can see the screen from the screen. You can see from the screen rather. A1 asterisk C $1 divided by this $4 minus $F $1 plus B2 as seen above. From this diagram, we are expected to identify the following formula. We have absolute formula, we have mixed formula, and we have relative formula. A reference rather. There is a way we reference in our formula. You know, in formula we see formula is about referencing A1. What you have in A1. A1 is a field on its own. What you have instead A1. So now, how do we reference in Spreadsheet? We have absolute reference, no doubt about that. We have mixed referencing, and we have relative referencing. From what we can see here, from the formula we are seeing here, which one is absolute reference, and which one is mixed reference, and which one is relative reference, and how can we differentiate between and among the three referencing style? Yeah. This site is, let me see if I can. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, let me see if I can do this. Okay, yeah, I want to. This one I liked it. This one is seen as absolute reference. Absolute reference. The one I liked it. You have dollar at the beginning. You have a dollar in the middle after the letter before the number. So you call this absolute reference. This is absolute reference. Absolute reference. So if you are expected to identify an absolute reference, you can say in front of absolute reference that this one, $F $1 is absolute reference. Okay, and this one, this is misreference. You have the letter before the dollar sign and before the number. You say it is what? Mixed reference. Mixed in the sense that it is mixture of everything, as we can see. This is where we have misreferencing. So here now, what you are expected to write in front of misreferencing is just to write $C$1 and what? D$4. That's where we have misreferencing. For relative reference, we have this. This is a relative reference on its own, A1. B2 is a relative reference. So we can read about absolute referencing, misreferencing, and relative referencing at our own convenience. So I don't want to belabor us about that. On that, rather. Next, let's look at this question. Explain 3 types of reports found in Microsoft Access. This is to tell us that in Microsoft Access, there are 3 types of reports. We are expected to do what? To explain them one after the other. So we have basic reports, we have grouped reports, we have summary report. Like I said, we have basic report, we have group report, and we have summary reports in Microsoft Access. At our convenience, let's take our textbooks, or we go online to find a simple explanation to these reports, to this form of report. We have basic report, we have grouped report, and we have summary report. So let's move to the next question so that we won't waste our precious time. This is a practical question. You want to develop a database that will help you to store and retrieve the details of students and departments in the school as a database developer. Okay, you are expected to list 2 tables that you would create. Obviously, when we have 2 or more than 2 or more tables, then you have a database. In a database, you must have 2 or more tables. So in this database that is talking about students and department, it is obvious we are going to have student table, a table that we are going to have the information of students, and we are going to have a table that will do what? That will be what? The department table, where you have information about departments. So those are the 2 tables that are required in this assignment. You are to have student table wherein you have what? The details of students, their names, matric number, and some other information or basic information you need about a student. Then you are going to have department information, wherein you have the department code, department name, and some other information you need to get about department. Yeah, the next questions on this is explain how you will use query to retrieve data from the database. How can you use query to retrieve data from the database? Okay. So when you query a database, you are requesting an information from a database. Take for instance, we have student table wherein we have information about student. Then you now want information about some specific students. So to say, you want students that are from Ogun State. Maybe there is a kind of scholarship or bursary that is expected to be awarded to some particular set of students. We can always query the database that, okay, get me students from Ogun State, or students that are of so age, maybe from 20 to 30, or maybe students that are below 20. So that is the essence of query in database. And to do this, you are going to use select statement. There is something we call select statement in structured query language. So you are going to use select statement, and it is always like this. You say select from, you select this, okay? You select, what are you selecting? You want to select age, or you want to select, maybe you want to select a student by sex or by state of origin. From which table? So when you use select statement, you are going to, after the select statement, you will now do what? You now put the particular field you are selecting from the table. Select maybe age from student table. So that's the structure. Select, capital select, block form, select in block form. Select, maybe to use this example, I want to select state of origin from, capital from in block form, from student table, the name of the table. Maybe if I say, okay, student table, the name I used to save the table, I will now say, okay, select state of origin from student table, if that is the name I used to save my table. Where age is less than this, where age is greater than this, now you use what? Select from the field, from, okay, select what are you selecting? Are you selecting age? Are you selecting state of origin? From which table? You now put the name of the table. You now after that, you can now put the condition you want to use. Maybe where this is this, where that is that. So that is how to do what? To retrieve data from the database. And let's look at the next question on that. Describe 2 ways which you can use to enter student records into the database. How can you enter student record? You can enter student record through form. You can equally enter student record through datasheet view or through the table. So please, let's read up about that to get how data can be entered through the form or through the what? Table. How do we do it in Microsoft Access? How can we enter data through form or through table in Microsoft Access? Let's go to the next one. Define application packages, provide relevant examples from medical domain and explain their significance for medical personnel. The question is 3 in 1, if I am not mistaken. The first thing, we have to define application package. And basically, application packages are what? Are software that are required in our day-to-day activities based on the nature of the task we are meant to perform. So you now do what? Provide relevant example from medical domain. Examples of application packages used in medical domain. Some of the examples are electronic medical record, electronic health record rather, EHR. We have picture archiving communication system and some other ones. So those are we can always read from the material given to us so that we can get ourselves more acquainted with this. And then the last on that is to do what? To explain the significance for medical personnel. How are these things useful to medical personnel? So first, they are used for what? Specialization and customization, standardization and interoperability, compliance and security, and they are also used to improve patient care. So we can also read, they are in the material I gave us in the course of teaching. So let's move to the next question so that we won't take too much of our time. Outline 3 advantages of using presentation packages. Why do we use presentation package? Why do we use presentation package? What are the essence of, what are the importance of presentation package in teaching? It saves time and energy. It is portable and can be shared easily with students and colleagues. It supports multimedia. such as video, audio, images, and so on and so forth. We can also read more if we need to learn more. Now the next thing is to find the full meaning to the following: MS-DOS, TCP/IP, HTTP, FTP, www, and DVD. I don't think I need to give us this. We can always find the meaning to this. We can also always do that on our own. So please, let's find the full meaning to the following acronyms. So let's get their full meaning, and if possible, we can read one or two things about them. These are the acronyms: MS-DOS, TCP/IP, HTTP, FTP, www, and DVD. So, and on a final note, the question says, as a technological inclined medical student, what factor would you consider? What factor or factors? So it can be, okay, what factor, or we can say factors, would you consider when advising a newly established medical facility on the choice of operating system for their device? Okay, provide a detailed recommendation for the operating system you believe is the best fit, along with rationale supporting your choice. Don't forget, in the course of teaching this course, we were grouped into various groups, and topics were assigned. This question is technically asking you to write about the topics you were given. And the first thing you need to consider is, one, the choice of operating system you want to talk about. What factor make you to do what? To recommend that operating system. You know, there are operating systems that are what? That are secure. So in that sense, you say, okay, the first thing is, for security purpose, I want to recommend Linux operating system. After that, you now provide details, understanding, and details importance, or details information about Linux operating system. I think I'm clear. So we also have Windows operating system. What makes Windows operating system better than other operating systems? That's the first thing you have to consider. If it is user-friendliness, for Windows operating system, user-friendliness, it is user-friendly. You can say, okay, user-friendliness. I want to recommend Windows operating system because of its user-friendliness. After that, you now do what? Provide detailed recommendation for what? Windows operating system. Along with what? Rationale supporting your choice. Along with evidences from what you have read. I think I'm clear. This junction, let's call this session quit. So if we have questions, we can always ask in the comment section or the comment box. So I will provide detailed answers. Thank you and God bless.